please welcome to the stage our Chairman, CEO, and President, Mr. Michael Saylor.
Thank you for coming. It's great to see you all. I'm delighted to be here today, and I thought I'd share with you some updates on some of the key corporate initiatives at MicroStrategy and our current technology and corporate strategy and priorities, how we see the world. And I'm delighted to kick off this MicroStrategy World and the 20th edition of it. I think we've got a great program. We've got some great customer speakers. I had a great day with partners yesterday and met many of you, and I really appreciated all the things you're doing. So I want to thank you for being here with us. So a few updates. As Mark said, our vision is intelligence everywhere. And every single year that goes by, technology gets better and we get closer to this vision. We've gotten to the point right now where there's intelligence coming out of the walls, out of the ceilings via speech and AI assistants like Alexa. We've got video walls at MicroStrategy, so we're seeing intelligence right on the wall as we walk down the hallway. We've got them in conference rooms, on desktops, on laptops, on tablets, on smartphones. We've got software running on watches and wearables. And I think that this trend is just going to continue. Now, our mission's a bit more focused. We want to provide an enterprise platform for analytics and mobility. The customer's the enterprise. The product is a platform to create suites of custom applications. And there's all sorts of intelligence out there. There's music intelligence and sports intelligence, and Google does their more than their fair share, and so does Amazon with shopping intelligence. Our focus is analytics and mobility intelligence for the enterprise. Our service focus is that expertise necessary to make sure that you're able to install and deploy and optimize and tune that platform. And to do that, we pursue an agile development strategy. The entire company works on 2-week sprints. We have 26 periods a year, and everybody shares those periods. We ship our software every quarter, and you can see we've been hard at work on version 10. Version 10 represents a complete tear down and rebuild of the MicroStrategy architecture. We realized that if we wanted to move into the next era, we were going to have to embrace a new set of technology trends. And one of them was power on the desktop. And so we rethought our desktop analytics and delivered the MicroStrategy desktop as part of 10, and we've refined it through 10.1, 10.2, 10.3, 10.4. For those of you who use it today, it's pretty good at this point. We just keep chipping away at every single rough edge and adding features as fast as we can. Another big major view or change in MicroStrategy 10 was the drive to embrace big data and new types of technology. And there are new big data sources, and the drivers keep getting better, and that's another reason for our quarterly release cadence. Version 10 was also meant to allow us to provide real-time parity between Android and iOS mobile applications, and the performance and the productivity people want for transactions, for communications. In version 10, we took our digital identity and Usher technology and tightly fused it into the MicroStrategy platform so that we'd have one single platform that's able to do the Internet of Things, and able to do mobile, and able to do big data, and able to do desktop analytics. And so version 10 means a lot of things to us. Last but not least, version 10 is very, very critical for us because we decided to focus the MicroStrategy platform on the Windows environment for the data center, on the Linux environment for the data center, and then we created a new platform release, MicroStrategy 10 for AWS, so that we could actually deploy MicroStrategy in a liquid fashion into tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of instances of AWS, and I'll speak about that today. But before I do those things, I want to give an update on some exciting programs we have. For those of you who remember, about October or so, we decided that we wanted to make the MicroStrategy desktop free. We wanted to spread desktop analytics to anyone of interest in the world and provide analytics for everybody. I'm happy to announce that we've now got more than 200,000 downloads on the MicroStrategy desktop since we did that. So we're moving along at a pretty nice clip. I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to moving through the 1 million download barrier sometime soon. We intend to continue this program indefinitely. We're going to keep driving the free desktop because we think it's a great way to spread the MicroStrategy experience to every corner of the earth and to every type of user and every sort of company. You can see here the MicroStrategy product is spreading just about every country on the earth. I would encourage you to continue to spread the good word there. We love it when people download this. Another program we launched in the fourth quarter is the Jumpstart program. And the Jumpstart program is either up to 1 to 5 days of free training to get acclimatized to MicroStrategy. We wanted to deliver that to the power users, to the super users, to small, mid-sized companies, to divisions and departments. We've had 16,000 participants since we rolled that program out, and this has proven to be very, very popular. If you have groups of super users who are considering using a Tableau or a Click or Power BI, or they simply want some self-service, we definitely encourage you to use the 1-2 punch, which is tell them MicroStrategy Desktop is available and it's free, and we'll set up this Jumpstart and you can learn to use it in just 1 day. In fact, you could probably learn it in a few hours, but in a single free session, we'll empower all of your super users and analysts everywhere in your organization with the power of analytics. And that will introduce them to MicroStrategy and also give them an upgrade path from desktop analytics to department analytics to enterprise analytics, all on the MicroStrategy platform. We've got a few other days of training. We'll train in enterprise mobility and digital identity and enterprise apps. Our goal is to make sure we spread the word and make it easy for people to embrace the full power of MicroStrategy's platform. One of the themes I hear from many of our customers here is wow, MicroStrategy does all these things. I'm so frustrated that our company's not taking advantage of all these features, or my customers aren't taking advantage of these features. How can we do that? And of course, that's one of the reasons we have this Jumpstart program. We want to spread the word, and we want to show people in an easy, constructive environment how they can get the most out of the platform. So Desktop and Jumpstart have been very successful, but we can't help but scratch our heads and ask, how can we spread the gospel further? And one thing we concluded is we need to make it easier to find experts and to find knowledge wherever it may be in the world. And so we looked at the MicroStrategy community and took a hard look at it, and we concluded that we could do better. We wanted to improve the quality by incorporating our technical support function directly into the community. So as of today, we're rolling out a new MicroStrategy community, and this new community has a knowledge base in it. It's going to host documentation. It's going to have instructional videos. It's going to have code examples. It's going to have data sets. It's going to have dashboards. And it's going to have an idea exchange. And what's really important about this community is we're driving this throughout our entire organization. So all of our consultants, all of our salespeople, all of our product people, product developers, all of our engineers, all of our tech support professionals are all using this community as the primary place to go to solve problems and to post issues. We're opening up to our partners and our customers because we want to create an ecosystem which is thousands and then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands of practitioners that are all cooperating. In order to ensure the success of it, we've actually decided to curate it. So we assign experts in every single topic area who are the curator. The community's got a lot of functionality. The curators are going to be responsible for making sure that the content stays fresh and that your issues are addressed. And we're using MicroStrategy's dashboard to keep track of all of our metrics and all of our KPIs against this community. And this is so important. We've given it a programmatic designation of MicroStrategy. It's called MC program. And for those of you who know MicroStrategy, you know we run on these two-letter programs. And MC is pretty important. It's for MicroStrategy community. But I say it's a MicroStrategy celebration or MicroStrategy champions or MicroStrategy celebrities. I always come up with a new acronym for it. We've got an MC 100 course where we actually are going to teach every single person at MicroStrategy how to find their way around the community. We've even got an MC 200 course to teach them how to curate. So we're taking this very seriously. This is the beginning of something we hope will be very special. We've got topics for example, every data source. If you're struggling with MicroStrategy on Oracle, there's a topic for it. If you're struggling with MicroStrategy on Cloudera, there's a topic for it. If you're focused upon mobile Android, there's a topic to focus upon that. There are topics on all the various tools. If you're working with Integrity Manager and you want to talk about that or you want insight on it, there's a topic for it. So we've gone fairly granular, but we're committed to making sure that MicroStrategy knowledge and know-how is available to everybody on Earth. You don't have to be on tech support to access this community. So we think it'll fuel a lot of knowledge sharing, a lot of intellectual property publishing. And if you're a partner and you want to get famous in a hurry, post your things to this community. If you're a customer and you've got issues, I encourage you to camp out here. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen, but I think it's the right direction for us in the future. We don't want to be limited to simply tens of thousands or 100,000 practitioners. We want to create an ecosystem where we can have millions and millions of practitioners, and so this is the next step. And consistent with that same idea, we're rolling out a university analytics program. We're really pleased to announce we'll be providing free analytics to schools and universities. We packaged our instruction and our training programs along with the software to make this very, very easy to access. If you're familiar with a university or you're involved with one and you want to get MicroStrategy embedded there, then check us out. We'd love to be part of it. We're enhancing our product education offers by new e-learning modules at this point. So we've had a lot of demand for e-learning that could be distributed broadly throughout our customer base and to the customers of our customers. And so we've developed these in response. I look forward to hearing from you what you think about this. You know, another really exciting trend at MicroStrategy is partners building new solutions on MicroStrategy 10. You know, MicroStrategy 10 has been, in addition to a release about big data and cloud and mobile and IoT, it's also a release about SDKs and APIs. We hear loud and clear from our customers they want to be able to empower their developers as well as their analysts. And so in order to empower the developers, we've released a whole host of new SDKs on the web, on mobile, RESTful APIs, and push APIs, so that we wanted to be not just a platform for people that know MicroStrategy. We want MicroStrategy data sets to be able to provide information to other BI tools. You could plug a Tableau or a Click into a MicroStrategy. We wanted to also make MicroStrategy a great data repository, an enterprise analytics repository. So we made this push API available so you can push data from third-party systems into a MicroStrategy data set. So MicroStrategy data sets as receivers from other apps and as sources of information to other apps, is an important part of us opening up the ecosystem. And I'm pleased to see companies like Elation, Pixada, and Informatica have jumped on top of that. Our customers are building some amazing apps, and I'm gonna show you a few videos of those in my presentation, but I gotta say, we wouldn't be here without you. It's pretty clear to us, we're a platform, and we need great companies with great use cases to build compelling applications to create value on that platform, or else there's no reason for us to exist. So every single time one of our customers creates a fabulous application, it makes me very proud. And I delight in seeing them. So if I see you and you've got one you want to show me, I'm always interested in that. I saw some of our customers yesterday on the Yacht Usher, and they showed me some of their cool apps, like our friends at Maersk, and I was just very delighted to see it. MicroStrategy runs on MicroStrategy. We are committed to drinking our own champagne. This is a wall outside of Mark Gamble's office. And I tell people the story. For many, many years, it was just a map of the world. And when I had a really, really good day, I'd go and stare at all the islands in the South Pacific and daydream about taking a vacation there to celebrate. And when I had a bad day, I would stare at all the islands in the Indian Ocean, and I'd think, well, maybe if I go off to the Seychelles or the Maldives, the problem will solve itself before I come back. And I realized that the problem was never going to solve itself. The islands never changed. And the map had no other words of wisdom or insight for me. And so after staring at it for year after year, I decided to rip the stupid map off the wall and put a video wall up and project a MicroStrategy dashboard on the video wall and put something that did matter on it. In this case, the customers, the prospects, the action, the activity. And now it changes every day. And I walk by it, and I look at it, and I learn something, and it causes me to do something. And not only do I walk by it, everybody in our company walks by it. So I have our heads of sales, Susan Cook will walk by it, and she'll say, wow, Mike, I didn't actually know we were doing that. Or maybe we'll actually take a hard left and walk into Mark's office and say, well, that was good. Why don't we do more of that? Or why don't we do less of the other thing? And we've taken this idea to every part of the company. So we have video walls in every part of MicroStrategy. We are using them across finance, across tech support, across sales, marketing, recruiting, HR. In fact, we've used this MicroStrategy dashboard to improve customer service. We've driven down our outstanding cases by a dramatic percentage. Kevin Meese, our head of support, swears by it. He's got this up outside the bays of the MicroStrategy support professionals. We have support management meetings, and we look at these dashboards in every single meeting. There are hundreds of these meetings every few weeks. There are thousands of these meetings a year, and every meeting is driven by this dashboard. We have them in the executive offices, and they're based upon our own enterprise analytics network. MicroStrategy has dozens of systems of record. We're plugged into external and internal data. We have a unified data model. We plugged the MicroStrategy platform on top. We actually spun up an industrial strength instance in the AWS cloud, so we have incredible amounts of bandwidth. We've curated a set of supercubes. There are 25,000 tables, floating around in one system. There are thousands and thousands, actually there's 10,000 reports floating around in Salesforce. There's probably 100,000 to 1 million objects floating in that lower layer. And yet, we can hire an analyst right out of university in their first job on a Monday, and on a Tuesday we can train them in the MicroStrategy desktop. We've got a product. We've got a course called Aqueduct 100, AQ 100, and Aqueduct is our enterprise analytics system. Because I love Roman history, and aqueducts are still standing, so I thought we might as well use something permanent. So AQ 100 is a one-day course. In fact, it's like a 4-hour course. And so if you come out of university on a Monday, on Tuesday afternoon, after having gone through a Jumpstart and Aqueduct 100, you're able to build very sophisticated enterprise dashboards that you can put into production that we use to run sales, to run business development, to run digital marketing, to run account planning, to run services, to run customer success, etc. And it was an amazing transformation for us as a company. But we have more than 100 analysts that are simultaneously building hundreds of different tools in order to make the company run better. And they're doing it in a governed fashion. When you tap into those supercubes, you inherit the company's security model, the company's data model, and the company's analytic model. So you don't have to sift through the 25,000 tables. You don't have to figure out whether or not salespeople in the Middle East are able to see information in India or not in India. All you have to do is load the Aqueduct dashboard, which has about 12 data sets in it, and start to drag and drop and click and configure, and you're done. So we're very happy about that. We learn something new every day. We've converted our HR professionals, our recruiters, our lawyers, our finance engineers, all into heavy-duty MicroStrategy users, so they're always giving feedback. And we're getting insight from every part of the company. We actually use this in all of our executive offices in our meetings. And one of the important things about the MicroStrategy culture is we kind of declared death to drywall. We don't want to have drywall. We don't have artwork up on the wall. We want to have dashboards and video walls on the wall. We declared death to PowerPoint. We don't want to have meetings where people walk in with PowerPoint presentations because they spend 2 days worrying about what's in it, and then it gets buried at the bottom of someone's inbox, and it can't be productized. And we declared death to Excel. Like, we don't want people to bring Excel spreadsheets to meetings either. What we do in our meetings is we sit down, we push a MicroStrategy dashboard up on the screen, and then we have a conversation about an opportunity that we want to exploit, or we highlight a problem that we focus on solving. And sometimes the dashboard's got the wrong metric or KPI, and I'll actually start pointing out, well, we really should calculate it this way, and we left out that. And as I'm talking, the people in the meeting are actually changing the dashboard, and by the time I finish speaking, they've actually changed the tool. And that's truly agile analytics. If we can't change it in the meeting, they'll change it within a day or two after the meeting. And that dashboard is a tool to run the business with. We put it into production, and it gets used thousands of times in the next few weeks. So our best practice is create dashboards, make them available on our SharePoint site, publish them out to thousands of people consistently, and use them to run the business. Now, okay. I want to move on to my next subject, which is critical capabilities to the enterprise. I speak to a lot of customers. In fact, I go to about 75 cities a year. I go to 15 symposiums every quarter, and every place I go, I have 6 or 7 one-on-ones. I meet with a dozen customers for lunch, and I always ask, what are you doing with MicroStrategy, and what do you want to do in the next 12 months? And the results I've concatenated, and I presented them here to you today. What I hear from our customers over and over again is they want a strong enterprise platform, an industrial strength platform, and they want to deploy either analytics applications, or they've got mobile projects, or they want to embed those analytics in a custom app, or they have a cloud project. They want to deploy something out of the cloud, or an IoT project. And in terms of numbers, 100% of our customers have an analytics project this year. 75% are deploying a mobile application in the next 12 months or have one on the burner. About 15 to 20% would like to embed analytics in some other application they've got in the enterprise. 25% have cloud aspirations. By the way, last year it was 5%. The year before it was like 1%. So cloud is an incredible inflection point right now. It's getting very popular. And about 15% of our customers have interest in the Internet of Things. They want to tap into digital identity and telemetry. These are the areas that MicroStrategy is committed to. We're going to invest all of our technical energy and all of our focus in making sure that we provide the world's best platform to allow you to deploy applications across these 5 areas. Now, we tried to break that down in a scientific fashion, and we asked ourselves, what do we need to be good at in order to do this? And so the critical capabilities for the enterprise, well, we've actually broken it into 7 different dimensions. The first dimension is platform capabilities. What are the 10 critical platform capabilities that are shared by every enterprise app? The next dimension is what are the enterprise analytics capabilities people need? Then what are the mobility capabilities? What do we need to do to embed analytics? What do we need to do to deploy in the cloud? What are our customers expecting? What does IoT mean in the world of analytics and mobility? And then finally, last but not least, what kind of company do we need to be in order to be the ideal partner for the enterprise that wants to deploy enterprise analytics and mobility? It's not enough to just provide the technology. We need to make sure that we're going to be around for the long term so that we can support all of the applications that our customers are building. You could have, in fact, in 1998 we came public. There were 100 competitors in this space. There were the Brios and the Cognoses, and there was Gentium, and there was Holos, and there was Business Objects, and there was Hyperion, and there was Arbor, and there was Sagent, and more and more and more. At one point or another, they all had some decent technology to do something, but in fact, over the next 15 years, every single one of them disappeared or got sucked up into a conglomerate. And in some cases, they got pushed into a conglomerate and they lingered on for a while. In other cases, Oracle bought 20 of them, and over time, the technology stopped getting funded. They became long in the tooth. They began to rust away, and that was a tragedy for the customer. And we want to make sure that anyone that builds on our platform can expect us to be around for the long term. Hence, what kind of partner do we need to be? Well, we're fairly scientific about this, so we've created a matrix, and we've worked our way through it and analyzed it, and we call it the Critical Capabilities Matrix. I'm going to present you a brief overview, and then by the end of the month, we're going to send you this document that's an appendix that actually lays out every single one of these capabilities and benchmarks MicroStrategy against every one of the competitors in the market. So we're pretty excited about this document. We've been hard at work on it, and you can expect it soon. Critical capabilities for the enterprise platform. Now, I'm not going to dwell a long time on this, but to state that clearly, being able to deploy in-memory, highly available, high-performance applications with security, with governance, with monitoring, and with automation capabilities, these are really critical, as is an object-oriented repository. It's important for us to be able to deploy a single version of the truth, and if you do work, you need to be able to share it across all of your analysts, all of your developers. And that doesn't vary whether it's a mobile app or an analytics app or an IoT app. These are always requirements. When we look at our platform, what we see is there are certain things that we do and we're fixated on that leading analysts don't always agree with us on, like object-oriented reusability isn't always a high priority for them. It is a high priority for us because it's a high priority for our customers. There are other things we're doing that there's broad agreement across the market that they're important, like user security and monitoring and deployability. It's very, very important that we continue to refine these over time, and you can expect us to do that. But as of now, we definitely believe MicroStrategy is the best platform in the world for deploying analytics and mobility, and that translates to a lower total cost of ownership. This is an analysis by a Gartner survey that just actually shows just that. And we're proud of that. More and more of our customers are moving from the point where weekly reporting isn't good enough, daily reporting isn't good enough, hourly reporting may or may not be good enough, but minute-by-minute reporting, or real-time reporting is what they want to do. And to do that, we've overhauled our own platform and rethought the way that MicroStrategy works by incorporating things like Kafka and Spark and other real-time mission-critical event technology right into the platform so you can take advantage of it. Now, if the platform's robust enough, you can deploy a suite of enterprise analytics applications. And there's a host of requirements to do this well, right? Some of them that are sexy, like self-service data discovery, and then others not so sexy, like traditional enterprise reporting, but yet every single enterprise on earth has enterprise reports they need to be able to distribute. MicroStrategy's focus is to provide all of these capabilities in a single platform. And if we do it well, we can empower not just the analyst, but we can empower a salesperson, a services person, a field executive to change the way they do business. Our target is, I love data scientists, but if I put a technology on a data scientist's desk and they create a cool dashboard and show it to their boss once in an academic way, we haven't really achieved our mission. We want the analyst or the data scientist to build an application that's then deployed to the rank and file, to the professionals that are at the point of the customer where they're doing business, the branch managers, the store managers, the district managers, the salespeople. So intelligence everywhere, it's coming to life. Not intelligence for the white-collar worker, not intelligence for the person at the desk, intelligence for the person in the field. If we're going to do it well, we need to make sure that we provide them that intelligence in any form they want it and any style they want it. And that's a special thing for us. Self-service data discovery is critical, and that's why we've been so committed to the MicroStrategy desktop. Today, you can do extraordinary things with that desktop product. You can plug into 80 different sources of data. You can blend. You can prep the data. You can build interactive applications. You can deploy very broadly and rapidly. You can plug in all manner of visualization and all manner of functionality in a modular fashion. And so we're very proud of that. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of features you could put into a dashboard, all of them without coding. In this particular case, you can see even as I'm talking, we can convert this traditional dashboard into a narrative, which is just really amazing. But there's a lot more you can do, of course. If you want to go to town on visualizations, you can. You see we've got tabs, and we're delivering a package of information in a tab format with interactivity. What does this mean from a business process point of view? Well, we use Salesforce.com, and the traditional reporting paradigm has a report to solve each problem. Salesforce.com has 100 folders of reports, and there's anywhere from 100 to 1,000 reports in each folder. We have 25,000 different reports in that system. And giving somebody a system with 25,000 reports is the same as giving them a system with no reports. In fact, in a way, it's worse because they're going to waste 4 hours of their time trying to figure out what to click on. So if we really want to deploy intelligence everywhere, we need to put it in a package that a mere mortal can understand. So MicroStrategy dashboards serve as that package. I give you one dashboard or one dossier of content. Everything's on the table. In a matter of seconds, at your fingertips, you can get to what you need. And we've seen that dramatically accelerate deployment of intelligence everywhere. We're continuing with our drive to optimize data connectivity and provide you with connections to every possible source. This is going to be never-ending. There are so many great data technologies out there, and there are so many great applications that have valuable information. What's clear is that if you want to deploy to the enterprise, you need to be able to federate dozens or hundreds of data sources, but serve them up in a clean set of enterprise cubes or supercubes that everybody can get their hands around. There's enough time in the world to master every single one of these things, but in fact, they're all relevant. And that's one of the reasons why we believe data prep and blending is important in the platform, because if you are going to tap into dozens of data sources, it's important to be able to join the data, blend the data, clean the data in a quick, comprehensive fashion. Now, one of the things we're still committed to is enterprise reporting, and this is something which is not big and has not been big in the world of modern BI, but it's pretty big in the world of enterprise getting stuff done. Here's an example of, this is one of our employees, and in our company, we want to actually do performance reviews, and when we do it, we want to understand the skill sets of the employees. So we're actually pulling information off of a system of record that shows the employee's skills. We join it with their historic performance, and then we serve it up in a very attractive fashion to every single manager. This is it's not a grid, it's not a dashboard, it's a person. And it could be a customer, or it could be a dependent, but I think it's pretty obvious why you'd want to be able to put information out this way. Anything in MicroStrategy can be served up as a report anytime. And for that reason, it's also important for us to be able to serve up that dashboard across every possible client. So we're always thinking, how do we provide people with the ability to do code-free development and deploy apps to web, and deploy apps to the desktop, and deploy the apps to mobile devices in a seamless fashion? And I can't really, I can't see that there's any particular area that we could afford to ignore. So we're always thinking in an open way. How do we stay open to every possible technology that the enterprise would want to deploy? You can see here, every single quarter, there's new technologies, there's new ways to visualize information, there's new ways to process the information. MicroStrategy, we're not Oracle, we're not IBM, we're not SAP. We're not big enough to jam a single stack on anybody, nor do we think it's the right thing to do. That's why we've embraced open protocols like D3, like R, and like various mapping protocols like Google Maps. That's why we're enthusiastic about being able to work on all operating systems against all data sources. But you can see here, the sky's the limit with what you can accomplish and the look and the feel of it. And every single day, someone puts out another beautiful, interesting application and makes us smile. Mobile analytics. If you build something, our view is you need, in this day and age, you need to be able to mobilize it, and not mobilize it over the course of weeks or months. We need to be able to do it in a matter of minutes. And so our focus is to continue to refine our technology so that we blur the distinction between building an application on a desktop or a web or a mobile device, and we support natively all the various operating systems. Tomorrow, Tim Lang is going to show you an absolutely awesome, beautiful presentation of the future of MicroStrategy's client and tools technology. All compatible with version 10, all currently in beta right now. Stuff it's not a long way away. It's something that we expect to put in the market very soon. But one thing you'll see is the attention to detail on building applications which are going to run in a beautiful fashion on mobile devices within minutes after they run on a web or on a desktop device. Here you can see it's a web application, and there's your mobile application. Our goal is to make it indistinguishable, so you can't even tell the difference. We'd like to be able to move freely back and forth, and everything you could do on the web with the web paradigm, we want to be able to do in mobile with the appropriate mobile paradigm. And you can see, if you get it right, it's awesome. And of course, with the current trends of successively cheaper and more powerful and more functional tablet computers, the writing is on the wall here that these devices are going into everybody's hands. One of the most exciting trends I see is salespeople taking MicroStrategy dashboards, pharmaceutical salespeople, insurance salespeople, private net worth or private client salespeople, bankers, et cetera. They're taking MicroStrategy dashboards right into the field. They're meeting with the customer. They're making the sales presentation to the customer. And if you look at me and say, well, what happens if I reprice this insurance policy? We can change 3 levers, rerun the dashboard, and export the entire thing as a PDF to you, all in a matter of a minute or 2 minutes. So part of our vision of Intelligence Everywhere is let's put hyper-powerful products into mobile packages and put it in front of the customer, not in front of the analyst. Right? If you're empowering the analyst talks to an executive, the executive talks to another executive that tells the salespeople what to say to the customer. Right? That's too many chains or too many links in the chain. If you give it right to the salesperson, they'll show it to the customer, and you may very well find that you're giving this application to the salesperson and you're giving a version of it to the customer. And we really believe in taking the intelligence all the way down the value chain to the person that's most important in the ecosystem, probably the customer. If not the customer, certainly the customer service rep or the customer sales rep that's talking to them right now. And because we're committed to that kind of engagement at the point of sale and the point of service, we're also committed to real time. Because when the customer's standing in front of your face, they're not going to wait for 5 minutes or 2 minutes or 10 minutes or half an hour in order to get the answer. That's the point of the AIG testimonial here. So you can see we actually plug our product in to our Internet of Things. We're generating real-time telemetry in our headquarters. We can run it through our platform and apply machine learning algorithms like TensorFlow or Cortana. And then we can generate alerts in real time against that. What kind of alerts? Well, we're really enthusiastic about the prospect of a hotel application where when your best customer walks in the hotel, you get an alert. Or an application when the ambulance is pulling up to the emergency room, you get the alert. Right? Track ambulances, track customers, track trucks, track deliveries, and react in real time. There'll be, of course, thousands, if not tens of thousands of other interesting applications. But the key is, if our platform can't support real-time, those applications won't be on MicroStrategy. And we want to make sure that MicroStrategy is an out-of-the-box platform for deploying real-time, intelligent, workflow productivity applications where you put intelligence in the hand of a person, a customer, an employee. And of course, as that spreads, predictive analytics becomes more important. People are increasingly wanting not just to see what happened in the past, they want to predict the future. And MicroStrategy is really well positioned for that. It is possible to embed any of these predictive analytics algorithms right into the MicroStrategy dashboard and use them to drive services, to define metrics and KPIs, to drive filters and criteria. And of course, we're not going to invent the next Watson, and maybe Watson will win, and maybe Alexa will win, and maybe Cortana will be the thing, and maybe TensorFlow will be what you want, or maybe there'll be some custom thing from some healthcare organization. I'm sure there'll be lots and lots of AIs out there. We want to be open to them all. We want to make it as easy as possible to embed them. We want to make it easy to embed every type of data source. I expect that there'll be more revolutionary data technologies coming in the future, and this industry is by no means mature. You know, in the 2003 timeframe, Larry Ellison declared that the database business was mature and there was no growth left in enterprise software, and that was the justification for Oracle buying up 100 enterprise software companies. But as you can see, these are all the technologies invented since Larry Ellison declared that there was no invention possible. And lots of companies didn't get the memo. I think that you'll continue to see this sort of invention. Some of these will fail, some will succeed, some will be extraordinary. What's very important is that we keep an open mind to new technology and new technique. And I think if you take anything away from my presentation, it would be that MicroStrategy's vision of the future is we need to be open to innovation wherever it may come, and then we need to provide a responsible enterprise framework to harness it all for our customers. There are certain things that require a consistency, like a consistent security model and a consistent deployment model. And if you want fault tolerance and failover and mission criticality, you must have some consistency. But otherwise, you need to be open to new techniques on the front end, open to operating systems, open to data structures, open to data sources. And I think we're better than anybody in the world at that. Now, the other thing that you can still do is deploy any of these dashboards as a service. And we think that that's important. The idea of being able to convert anything you see into a periodic distribution service is important. Distributed intelligence means that you can provide 100,000 people with the thing that they need when they need it on a trigger or on a schedule. We've taken pains to continue to upgrade this capability. We're pretty pleased with our new ability to generate MSTR files as services and PDFs as services. It means that you have the ability to get your intelligence out to millions and millions of people. The MSTR files can be run on the desktop at no cost because the desktop product is free. Of course, PDFs are the universal document format. So as I said, every customer's got some enterprise analytics project, and those capabilities are critical to that. But 75% of them are doing mobility work. And mobility for us means more than mobile analytics, as you could probably guess. For us, mobility is about mobile apps that don't just consume data, they generate data, transact data, they allow you to communicate based on the data. They allow you to authenticate your identity or authenticate the transaction. There's a lot of things we need to do to be good at mobility. Transaction is one. This is a blind spot for most other BI companies and analytics companies in the market, but I hear over and over from our customers they've implemented transaction services and they love it. Embedded multimedia, offline access, caching, alerting, all these other things are important as well. So nothing more exciting than someone that takes intelligent software, puts it in the hands of a customer, in the hands of a salesperson, and uses it to generate revenue. Now, good idea. It's the execution that's challenging. And if you want to actually succeed at enterprise mobility projects, we've found that you have to do a lot more than just put reports on the screen. Push is really important. Optimized connectors are important. Integrating transactions are important. Social media feeds are important. Transactions need to be supported offline and online. So we're committed to continue to make sure that the MicroStrategy mobile applications work offline or in a low network environment as well as in a completely networked fashion. Multimedia is another thing people oftentimes underestimate, but if I give you a list of 10 products that the customer might want to buy, what's more persuasive than being able to show them a video of the product or a picture of the product as you're selling it to them? And if I give you a list I give you a product or an area of the business where you need to make a fix, maybe a piece of machinery that's broken, well, we can distribute you the document that shows you how to fix it. Right? So we don't want to just be a report without solving the problem. We want to actually be an intelligent application that shows you how to sell the thing, how to service the thing, or helps you understand what it is. And so this multimedia has completely enriched and changed the relationship of the application to the to the end user. Geospatial analysis continues to evolve very rapidly. The integration of information into a mobile app in real time that then could be plugged into traffic data or weather data or the like is pretty powerful. There are a lot of great applications like Salesforce.com that will track your customers. What they don't do well is show you where your customers are on a map. So if I'm actually driving around trying to figure out which customers are close to me, that's where they fall down. So MicroStrategy can be used to overlay this geo information on just about any data source, and the benefits are almost immediate. Mobile caching is another area that's close to our heart. What we've seen is it's pretty important to think hard about how you're going to put your files close to the mobile device, especially if I wanted to give you 1,000 videos of 1,000 different things. It's good if you can cache the videos or cache the multimedia on the device and just pull it up on demand as opposed to move it over the network. This can make the difference between the applications working and the applications not working. And of course, changes the way you think about offline access. If you wanted to write this stuff yourself, you would be writing tens of thousands of lines of code, which would be unmaintainable. But we see that every one of our customers needs the same thing. So our focus is making sure that we provide you with an instant package. I'm really enthusiastic about alerts, too, and primarily because they help us achieve our vision of intelligence everywhere. The traditional enterprise reporting view was, I got 10,000 employees, I'm going to give them all a computer, build an application, and train them on how to run the application, to look at the report, and then tell them to run the application on a frequent basis. But that's a very capital-intensive, labor-intensive approach to spreading intelligence everywhere, and most people just don't want to do it. A much more enlightened approach to spreading intelligence everywhere is I create a Starbucks associate application, and when you start with Starbucks, you download the application to your phone in 60 seconds, and there is no training, and there is no dedicated hardware, because when you need to do something, the phone alerts you, you click on it, and you're running the app. So don't worry, we'll tell you when it's time to file your expense report, when your best customer just called the call center to complain about something. We'll send you the alert, you click on it, you're in the app. When I add new functionality, I send you an alert, you click on it, you're seeing something new you never saw before. It's training literally on the job, on your own device. And if your employees can bring your own device, then your customers can bring their own device. And that means you can deploy an application that only takes 60 seconds to figure out, because it's going to teach you the rest. And what we've seen is that the number one challenge is engagement. And adoption. How do we get our users to engage with our apps and adopt them and use them in the real world? So personal alerting, especially alerting that's plugged into the native iOS or native Android operating system, are like magic when it comes to getting these applications adopted and deployed. You know, a cool thing that we do at MicroStrategy, we don't get a lot of credit for, but it's really amazing, is the ability to deploy new functionality without a recompile or a re-download. So if you wanted to build a mobile app and do it the traditional way, you would actually have to recompile it, upload it to the Apple Store, wait for 2 weeks for it to get curated, and then people would have to download the executable. But here in MicroStrategy, I can actually make the change to the development environment on Monday at 9 a.m. and at 9:05 a.m. when people launch the mobile app next, they'll see the change. I could change the functionality every day, and when people log in that day, they'll see the new functionality. And it's a cool built-in feature, and it's very, very powerful if you're trying to develop in an agile fashion. It saves network bandwidth as well. You know, the other thing that we're really proud of is the ability to white label things. And so I see customers, and they come to me and they say, hey, look, we created this MicroStrategy mobile application. And then they kind of say, and we kind of rebranded it. And sometimes they look at me to see if I'm going to be upset that they rebranded it. But actually, I'm delighted to see they rebranded it. right? If you actually build a mobile app and you give it your company name, and by the way, it's not just your company name, it's your service line or your product line or your department, right? If you're American Express, you can have a black card app, a platinum card app, a gold card app, because you've got various service lines or various product lines that you want to drive. So being able to put that icon on the screen of the mobile phone is incredibly valuable marketing, maybe the most valuable marketing of the 21st century. And you see an example of this with the MicroStrategy World application that you guys have downloaded. I want to thank Data Meaning. They actually built this app. They built it on the MicroStrategy platform. You would never guess it's a MicroStrategy platform app because it looks like any custom compiled app, but it's got all of our functionality and it highlights what you can do with MicroStrategy to build any general purpose mobile application. If you really want to do mobile, first you're going to deploy a version to your salespeople. Then you're going to get demand to deploy a different version to vendors. Then you're going to get demand to deploy a different version of that to customers, all on a single version of the truth, all branded with 3 different brands and 3 different app types, all centrally administered. That's a great enterprise mobility solution. Now, the other extreme is people doing enterprise mobility managers like App Config and AirWatch and Mobile Iron, and MicroStrategy supports that as well. So if you need these, they're very valuable to you. You'll find we're very committed to maintaining support for them. Now, oftentimes when people build this much functionality, they're deploying all of these applications on a single version of the truth. Then they say to us, well, we want to make sure that our KPIs are federated and published out to the entire enterprise. That means every analyst. Okay, great, but what about every developer? I met with one of our customers, a big bank, and the client goes, well, we have 15,000 end users, but I'm responsible for coordinating the activity of 1,000 developers that are using the platform to build custom applications. And I thought, 1,000 developers, it made me proud, made me happy, made me think that we have a serious responsibility to make sure that we're providing those 1,000 developers with the tools they need to fully harness those data sets. And one of the key tools is a full set of APIs, right? I mean, I want to be, like I told you the story of the analyst that starts on a Monday and Tuesday afternoon is building dashboard apps. Well, if you hire a developer with a master's degree in computer science who knows Swift or knows Java on a Monday, on a Tuesday afternoon, we want them building, and by Wednesday, we want them deploying mobile apps. And there's no way they can do it if they have to rebuild the security model or figure out the 250,000 tables in the enterprise. They need to go hit the data set, pull the information out, build the app. And to do that, we've got custom web application toolkits. We've got custom development kits for iOS and Android. We've got custom HTML visualization development kits you can use to solve lots of intricate problems like the natural language recognition challenge. We're committed to RESTful APIs. Tim's going to show you tomorrow that Workstation and the Dossier, and Workstation and Dossier are built on top of our own RESTful API, so every single thing we do, you can do, and you can bypass our interfaces if you want. We're committed to that degree of openness. And likewise, one thing we just did recently this year we're very proud of is custom data connectors. You can build your own connector to any data source. And of course, you can take any data source and you can push information into our cube. So these various SDKs and APIs are an increasingly important part of the ecosystem. They'll be an important part of the MicroStrategy community online as well. They all have their own topics, and so I expect that you'll see a lot of code examples and data examples up there, and we encourage sharing of these resources, primarily so that you can embed all of the intelligence of MicroStrategy into any custom app and any client interface anytime you want. This classic custom web application created by the Canadian Institute of Health, which just illustrates what you might do. We want all of our customers deploying applications to their end users, to their citizens, to dependents, to vendors. Now, we know if that's going to happen, generally people aren't going to want the traditional dashboard interface, or they may not want an out-of-the-box interface. They want their particular scheme, and maybe they want to control it in a particular fashion. So the more powerful this SDK is, the more likely it is we get out to the millions and tens of millions of users, not the hundreds and thousands of users. I want to say a few words about cloud. You can deploy MicroStrategy on Windows. You can deploy MicroStrategy on Linux. It's powerful multi-tenant. But we've been thinking about the way the world heads, and clearly one trend is integrated platform. So in our platform, we've integrated Apache, Tomcat, and MySQL, and Kafka, and Spark, and D3, and R, and other key technologies. Well, the other trend is, how about just create a data center in a box? I'd like to actually be able to spin up a 100,000 user data center in a matter of minutes and put it anywhere in the world and deploy applications on it. That was a pipe dream 5 years ago. Today, that's reality. And if you want to be competitive as an enterprise cloud provider, you need to be able to provide the deployment tools to your customers and your partners so they can create their own instance. You need to be able to deploy on a global basis. You need to provide a set of APIs that are open so that you can customize that deployment and you can create your own provisioning consoles. You need to support failover and centralized administration. And you need to be scalable horizontally and vertically and elastic. And of course, you need world-class security. We benchmark ourselves against everybody else in the market, and we're not satisfied to do a Me Too product. We want something which is really, truly great, and so we keep rebuilding this. And the latest instantiation of the cloud is MicroStrategy 10 for AWS. Now, this is actually a product you can take control of and deploy. It's not a service. It's not us offering to do something for you. You can literally take MicroStrategy, create your own AWS instance, run it yourself. You own the keys. You can configure the environment. You can turn it on and turn it off. You don't need us. And to put that in perspective, it took us about 3 years to create a couple of hundred AWS environments for our customers that we operate for them. We created these tools and we gave them to our employees, and we generated 10,000 environments in about 4 weeks that followed. And we're now releasing these tools to you, our customers, and to our partners. And I expect we'll go across 100,000 instances in the cloud environment. And so this is a massive viral trend that's taking place. And this is going to catalyze a very aggressive migration to the cloud for a lot of reasons. One is simplified deployment. We've de-skilled the process. It used to be hundreds of clicks to deploy MicroStrategy. We've got it down to a couple. It used to be it took hours. We've got to the point where we can create this entire production instance in 27 minutes. And to put that in perspective, what that means is 10,000 users supported against hundreds of terabytes or petabytes of data in minutes. It would have been 3 years and $10 million of capital if you did the traditional way. And that's just a really amazing thing when you think about it. It's like liquid bandwidth on demand. And you can put it most places in the world. Right, these are all the different availability zones. It's spreading like wildfire. Every single quarter, there are new options available. Now, one reason you want to do this is performance. if you wanted to deploy simultaneously in 5 countries. Another reason to do it is compliance, because you have legal constraints or privacy constraints and you need to put the data in a certain place. So this cloud solves a lot of those problems for you. It also solves another challenge. We give you a set of buttons, you click on them, and you've spun up an entire instance. But if you wanted to customize this with personal user interfaces or interfaces that are customized to a given company, or integrate it with other automation tools, or implement it in a different language, we give you all the APIs. So it's not just a wizard, it's actually a fully functional, programmable cloud toolkit. Now, what that means is in practice, instead of it taking you 6 people 6 weeks to figure this out, one engineer in a matter of a few days can build incredibly intricate, powerful things using these APIs. One thing you can do, of course, is make your environment elastic and integrate it into all of your other automation routines in order to size it properly. We take security very seriously. It's a top priority at our firm, and we know that this can't be successful unless we meet the most stringent security requirements. So we're continually benchmarking ourselves against every security expectation that's in the marketplace, and our customers give us a long litany of them to focus upon. The most important thing for you to know is that we're committed to allowing you to create a cloud instance which is secure, encrypted, safer than the instance that you would create if you were to deploy it in your own data center, and make that cloud instance either stand alone or integrate with your data center in a secure fashion. So you can deploy hybrid cloud deployments and elastic ones or clustered ones, where you mix a blend of data coming from your data center, data coming out of the cloud, data from third-party sources, in order to build hyper-performing applications whenever you need them, wherever you need them. Now, how do we do all this? Well, we really went to school studying all the AWS services, and you can see this is a set of them. And we engineered all of the necessary code in order to fully take advantage of these so that you don't have to. Now, you could take MicroStrategy and you could work to build your own perfect deployment, but again, it's going to be man-months of effort, and then it becomes difficult to maintain. So our focus here is to create what I'll call a native all-in port of MicroStrategy to AWS that takes advantage of every native AWS service in the right fashion in order to get the highest performance, the lowest total cost of ownership, the lowest latency, the best throughput. And we're very proud of what we've accomplished here, but I'm more interested in hearing about what you think. So I encourage anyone with interest in deploying out of the cloud to check out the MicroStrategy for AWS product. Now, why would you want that much bandwidth? Increasingly, it's because of IoT. In the Internet of Things, the most important thing is a person. It's probably your customer. It's probably your employee. It may be an asset you have in motion. It's now possible to integrate all of this information coming off of all these devices in a fashion so that out of the box, you can provide analytics, you can provide mobile applications, you can provide physical and logical access, all on a single platform. That's the MicroStrategy vision, right? We have created a platform that incorporates the digital badge right natively into the platform, and the badge has physical access and logical access capabilities. We've taken advantage of Bluetooth, GPS, and barcode scanning in order to generate high-quality telemetry and tokenized access. And then we've taken all that telemetry, with a set of pre-built ETL routines, we're populating a data model, and then we provide out-of-the-box reporting. So our vision here is turn the thing on Monday. On Tuesday, you've got mobile apps, reporting apps. All of this is functioning without you building anything. And here's a picture of a day in the life with Usher. We want to be able to do anything using this badge. Any logical access, any business process, open any door, digitally sign documents, authenticate, inspect, log. And in a world where everybody's got mobile phones, it makes sense to make sure the mobile phones will do whatever you need. No one forgets them. So you can imagine keys disappearing, passwords disappearing, badges disappearing, paper disappearing. And in addition to making it easier, we want to make sure that we've got real-time awareness of everything going on. We've built messaging into the badge itself as well. And of course, this shows how an inspector could actually inspect or inventory any particular corporate asset. The badge you've got here is it's a universal scanner. It'll scan any barcode, and it's a transponder, and it's a communicator. So you can expect, for example, in the next 24 hours, we'll start to send you out a few messages that you can respond to, and then tomorrow I think Tim will show you some of the responses to those communications. But one thing that we are very enthusiastic about is the Internet of Things and the way that it drives the mobile and analytic environment. Those badges, they convert something from being a simple mobile analytic app to being a magical mobile application. Because if you have the badge in front of you, you can convert a 30-second delay into a 300 millisecond delay, right? They provide instant awareness, and that turbocharges the mobile experience. If your 10 customers are standing in front of you, you want to take out your phone, identify the 10, figure out who's the best, figure out what to say to them, and you want to figure that out in less than a second. You can do that if you've got badges proliferating. When you use badges for physical access, you don't just eliminate the badge, you make it impossible to forget it, and then you can, of course, upgrade the security by adding biometrics or geofencing or the like. With logical security, it means you can get rid of the password, which means you get rid of phishing attacks and keystroke attacks and dramatically increase the security of all your systems. Bluetooth is magical, and proximity sensing is proliferating everywhere. We use it to create a rock star experience, so you can actually walk up to your computer, it unlocks for you. And you can walk up to a door and it unlocks for you. And of course, the real rock star ought to be the customer. So our view here is the customer walks up to the point of sale and you immediately recognize the customer. Right? That's a very exciting idea. The customer is broadcasting their identity, you immediately recognize them. We've got other really fascinating examples where people walk through factories and then the dashboard immediately personalizes itself to the person. So we're very big on Bluetooth. We're also very excited about barcode scanning. Why? Because I could distribute the Usher badge to 5,000 aid workers in Africa, and they could scan 500 million barcodes or 500,000 people's tickets or coupons or credentials. So a barcode is anywhere from free to costing a nickel, and the phone might cost $100 to $500. But if you can scan a barcode, you can scan it in a medical environment, you can scan a barcode in a retail environment, you can take a ticket, you can use it for fraud detection, for managing entitlements, for welfare, or for employment aid and the like. And so it really opens up a lot of interesting use cases here where you immediately have a transaction, you have the analytics, you have the telemetry, you can biometrically upgrade it, and then you can integrate it into your communication. So that communication and collaboration means I can communicate with everyone that's badged instantly in an authenticated fashion, in a friction-free fashion. To make this easier, we even incorporated an inbox into the Usher app. So if you get a message, you'll see it in the inbox and you can respond to it even if you don't get it or notice it immediately. And of course, you can see that this love of digital identity gives us a real interest in real-time telemetry because if you've got 100 trucks and they're driving down the highway and you want to let them into the factory, you want to know where they are and you want to deal with it instantly. So being aware of everything at all time is part of our Intelligence Everywhere future. In fact, we want to be able to Uberize the enterprise. We want to Uberize anything, right? Uber is the most successful startup in the history of the world. And the reason they went from 0 to $50 billion in 5 years in market cap. And the reason they're successful is because that mobile app generates data, consumes data, transacts on the data, communicates across the data, right? They're doing everything, and they're creating an intelligent mobile commerce network. And we believe the future is intelligent mobility networks. So whereas Uber can afford to spend $1 billion on engineering to do this, you can't. And your local school buses or your local hospital can't. What they do have is buses and they have ambulances and trains and all sorts of assets in motion. So MicroStrategy is a platform for you to Uberize any of that stuff right out of the box. So you can see that's why we incorporate out-of-the-box reporting. When you deploy the badge on a Monday, you get the mobile app on a Tuesday, you get the reporting on a Wednesday. When you decide you need more bandwidth, you just spin it up in the cloud, and you've got lots of bandwidth on Thursday. You can triple it on Friday, deploy it in Singapore on Saturday. You've made a mistake, you can pull it back on Sunday. On Monday, you can start to customize it. Right? So the platform allows you to put functionality in the market rapidly, integrate it with your directory services, manage all the identity roles, and use properties to drive the way these badges work, and inject the Internet of Things into the middle of the enterprise. And so that's why we're enthusiastic about IoT. We think it makes for great analytics applications, it makes for great mobile applications, and it also creates entirely new and revolutionary magical use cases that are going to create value for the enterprise. Now I'm going to end with a few last thoughts on what kind of company we feel like we need to be. I mean, the platform is good, and the technology is important, but we believe that one of the critical capabilities for an enterprise partner, right, is to be committed to the customer. And so how do we express commitment to the customer? Well, one thing you'd like to have in a partner is a principal shareholder that's committed for the long term. It doesn't really matter what the CEO tells you if the CEO is working for a set of shareholders that are looking for a short-term profit. So you want shareholders that are committed to the long term, and the great technology companies have those principal shareholders committed to the long term. We are committed, I am committed to the long term of this business, and one of the reasons why we're still here when 99 of our competitors disappeared is because they weren't committed, and in some cases they couldn't be committed. MicroStrategy is committed to remaining a publicly traded company. We think being transparent is very important. We think that strong financials are important, and putting the right team in place is important. And we think focus is important, as is a worldwide presence, and to stay engaged with customers. So ways that we keep ourselves engaged, well, we do about 100 symposiums a year, and we do them in all these places. I, in fact, have been to pretty much every single one of these cities. Over the course of 24 months, I normally go to every place, and I go to about half of them or 2/3 of them every single year. And every place I go, I listen to what our customers need us to do, and we take careful notes, and I bring it back to corporate. Now, it's not just me. Our entire company is engaged in these activities, and we'll continue it because we feel like it's the best way for us to stay close to the customer. This is the last 8 quarters of our financial results. We've made money in every one of them. We run a very thoughtful financial model. We use MicroStrategy to run MicroStrategy, and we're committed to a strategy of organic, profitable growth. Organic and profitable being the 2 operative terms. Why organic? Because most companies in this marketplace that fail because they do acquisitions, and especially bad acquisitions. Generally, the road to serfdom, is paved by acquisitions in the enterprise software business. All of the great technologies that I've seen in the past 27 years, they eventually fell by the wayside because the company was more committed to growth than it was to the customer. And when it came time to actually figure out what to do next, instead of saying, well, the company's not growing, so that must mean the product's not good enough, we should make the product better. Or the company's not growing, that must mean that our services need to be improved. Or the company's not growing means we need to work harder. Instead of actually looking in the mirror and saying we need to fix the product or fix the service so the company will grow again, most of the time the CEO says, well, the company's not growing, but Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley will fix this problem for me by selling me another company that's also not growing. And I'm going to take my non-growing company, bolt on another non-growing company. I'm going to use acquisition accounting, and I'm going to tell the market that we're growing, whippy. I'm going to get away with it for about 18 months, but it's okay because in the next 18 months, I'll find a third company to buy. When Crystal stopped growing, they merged with Business Objects. And when Business Objects and Crystal couldn't grow, they bought another company. And when they couldn't buy another company, they thought, gosh, we can't seem to fix the problem. How did every other management team fix their problem? And they're like, well, oh, they sold to us. And they think, well, we should do the same thing. And so I just need to find someone to dump this thing off to myself. So that happened with Cognos as well. That happened with Hyperion the same way. It happens continually. Once you decide that you're not going to solve your problem by making the product better, you're going to solve the problem through financial engineering, then you're probably going to end the company. It's just a matter of how many quarters will it be before you end. And the problem with that, of course, is that, who believes that Brio is getting invested in today, or Crystal is getting invested in, right? Or S-Base is getting invested in? It gets really hard when you become one of 97 different products. So we're committed to staying profitable so we can control our destiny. You can pursue a strategy of unprofitable growth. This is actually Tableau's results for the last 8 quarters. The problem with unprofitable growth is you can only do it so long, and when the growth stops, they fire the CEO. Now, I don't want to be fired, which is why we don't want to do this. That's Click's strategy, which is also unprofitable growth. The other problem with unprofitable growth is when you hit the wall, if they can't fire the CEO, they make you sell the company. And so in this case, they sold the company. Now, the problem with selling the company is if you're part of a private equity organization, the likelihood that you come out exactly as a pure play committed analytics company is less than 100%. So in this particular case, the customer is best served by a well-capitalized, purely focused analytics company. There's no guarantee that we'll see it here. The CEO of Tableau can't guarantee it. He doesn't own the company. And the owners of Click have a vision which is to make a 20 or 30 or 50% profit over the next 5 years, not to become the world's greatest analytics company. MicroStrategy's focus allows us to build our balance sheet, so we've actually gotten stronger every single year over the last few years. We've got the strongest balance sheet in the history of the firm. Our last 2 years were the best 2 years in the history of the firm. To put this in perspective, we have $650 million in cash or so versus a $400 million operating expense. It means that we could go from making money to losing money for 20 years. We'd still be here, right? And our goal is to be just exactly that. Be here in 20 years for you, because every time a customer shows me an application they built on our platform, I feel like I have an obligation to see it grow to maturity. And if we want to serve them well, we need to keep making the platform better. And how do you make it better? Well, you support AWS. You can't support AWS if IBM has their own cloud and if Oracle has their own cloud. And you got to support Salesforce, but you can't do that if you work for SAP. And you got to support big data, but Oracle doesn't want you to support big data. And so if you want to actually support all the technologies and do the right thing for the customer, you have to stay independent, you have to keep investing, and you have to be around for the long term. And that is the commitment that I make to every one of you, that we will be here to see your projects bear fruit. I look forward to that. Thank you for your time today. Feel free to follow me on Twitter if you like, or LinkedIn. My email is Saylor, S-A-Y-L-O-R. I care about each and every one of you. I care about the projects you're doing. I am grateful to every customer in the room. I'm grateful to every partner in the room. I know that we could not be here without you. And so thank you for being here today, and thank you for your support.